The mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois are doing everything in their power to prevent Donald Trump from sending the National Guard to their city. And if it's one city in the United States of America who needs the National Guard, I think it would be Chicago. Let's just look at the violence that's going on. They can say they're doing everything in that city to, oh, we're trying to lower violence and curb the violence, but I haven't seen anything that's going on. 53 people, let me repeat that, 53 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend. Amongst those 53 folks, 7 people lost their lives.
Governing over Chicago, governing over the state of Illinois, they're letting it crash and burn. Trump, you should have been sick the National Guards over there. You should have been sick them in there to clean up house, regardless of how people feel, regardless of how people think. And all this makes no sense to me. All these murders that people feeling unsafe. Damn the mayor, damn the governor. They got protection out the ass, so they're not even worrying about what the citizens need. We voted you in, and the ones that didn't vote you in need you, Trump.
Welcome back, Warriors. This is me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Warriors, we have got to talk about Black Chicagoans who are on the side of President Donald J. Trump. More than likely, these people are Democrat voters, but they side with the president, and they are literally begging for the National Guard to come help them with their crime problem. Before we get into this video, don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications. Stick around to the end. Let's go. All right, so Chicago had a horrendous Labor Day weekend. I'm sure you have all heard. More than 54 people, more than 54 shootings, 7 people were fatally shot, but yet they don't have a crime problem. And might I also add that the 4th of July weekend had 55 people that were shot, 55 shootings, and 8 were fatal. So are we going to pretend that Chicago does not have a crime problem? And they have an incompetent mayor. But there are Black Chicagoans who are out here begging for President Donald J. Trump to send in the National Guard. And let me just say this before I show you these people who literally live in Chicago, and some of them know about the crime in Chicago, may not live there. The thing about this is about Democrats not wanting President Trump to show them up for what they have not been doing, because they know what President Trump is doing is working. When everybody sees that their city feels safer, they see how friendly the National Guard people are. Their National Guardsmen, they are friendly. They're helping old ladies cross the street. They're playing with the children. They're letting people look at their trucks and everything, and they're going to be armed. So there's less crime and more people have their families with them instead of planning a funeral. At the end of the day, it's about lives being lost or not being lost, actually lives being spared. And the Democrats are going to gaslight you all. I'm talking to anyone that lives in an urban area that President Trump is more than likely going to try to send those national troops, National Guardsmen, and he's trying to work with local law enforcement. But the mayors of these cities and these governors have instructed law enforcement not to work with the president. So they're saying you should work with us, but then when he tries to work with you, you've already instructed everybody not to work with them. Y'all about to FAFO. And you're going to get bit in your A squared when it comes to midterms, because what you are doing sucks. And you darn well know it. He's going to show you up for what you have not been doing, and you're going to be ashamed. You're going to try to come up with another lie.
I'm 100% okay with the guard being downtown, because if the guard is a supplement to downtown, that means that Brandon won't be pulling officers or directing the superintendent to pull officers, or however that goes, from the south and west sides in order to protect downtown. What you may not have noticed over the years, Lightfoot, even recently, she received flack because she literally pulled officers from the south and west side, pulled them off of their post in the south and west side to go protect downtown. I actually have family members who are in CPD, and I know for a fact that there were different points where they literally were pulled off of their post in districts on the south side to go work downtown, to go stand on a corner downtown. So yeah, I'm totally fine with the National Guard taking care of downtown so that the people who live on the south and west side can have the officers that are assigned to our districts, and they're not busy protecting Nordstrom. since Nordstrom just got hit for $100,000 worth of theft in a, what was it, a 10-person robbery. So yeah, if, like I said, if you haven't noticed, the mayors will for sure make sure the downtown is always protected at your cost. They will leave you unprotected and have you with a 30-minute response time if they ever come, just so people downtown can stay safe. Y'all, don't defend these people. They're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for you.
The mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois are doing everything in their power to prevent Donald Trump from sending the National Guard to their city. And if it's one city in the United States of America who needs the National Guard, I think it would be Chicago. Let's just look at the violence that's going on. They can say they're doing everything in that city to, oh, we're trying to lower violence and curb the violence, but I haven't seen anything that's going on. 53 people. Let me repeat that. 53 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend. Amongst those 53 folks, 7 people lost their lives. They need to have a National Guard down there to lower some of this crime, because the stuff that the mayor and the governor claim that they're doing, it's not working. Then the mayor had to sign an order saying that the police don't need to be working with the National Guard. I'm just lost. I'm like, okay, if I see something that says 53 people were shot over a 3-day weekend, don't you think you would need Donald Trump in your city, in your state, to help curb the violence? But you know really what it is? They don't want to be embarrassed on the national stage. They don't want Donald Trump to come to their city, to their state, and clean that up, and then they look bad to their constituents, because that's really what's going on. I can't believe that. 53. Go look at the headline for yourself if you think I'm lying.
So let me get this straight. Out of all these shootings that happened in this month alone, mass shootings, governor and mayor of Chicago, y'all really don't think the National Guards need to be coming in? Newsflash, Trump send their damn asses over there to Chicago. Send the National Guard there, because people and citizens have a right to be feeling safe. They have a right to be feeling secure. And at this point, governing over Chicago, governing over the state of Illinois, they're letting it crash and burn. Trump, you should have been sent the National Guards over there. You should have been sent them in there to clean up house, regardless of how people feel, regardless of how people think. And all. This makes no sense to me. All these murders that people feeling unsafe. Damn the mayor. Damn the governor. They got protection out the ass, so they're not even worrying about what the citizens need. We voted you in, and the ones that didn't vote you in need you, Trump.
So Brandon Johnson has got to be one of the dumbest mayors I've ever seen in the history of the office, because this man is actively doing everything he can to ruin Chicago, and people who support him just blow my mind. I don't understand what you're supporting. He's doing everything to destroy your city, so that when he leaves there, you have nothing left. Now he's signing an executive order to pretty much fight Trump's ability to put federal agents in your city to clean up the crime. Chicago has been known as one of the murder capitals of the country. For him to go and try to sign an order that would prevent federal agents helping keep people safe is incredible. Meanwhile, he's also still trying to take care of illegal migrants, while also trying to raise your property taxes to pay for a budget deficit that he put your city in. And this man has no answers for anything. His approval rating is in single digits, yet and still nobody has nothing to say about him. Y'all don't want to get rid of this guy. Y'all don't want to try to get rid of him ASAP. He's the worst, and the fact that he's black just makes it even worse. The string of black politicians that have been caught out here looking crazy doing anti-common sense stuff, especially when it comes to Trump, it blows my mind. Chicago is like ground zero for the apocalypse. This man is a walking idiot.
There you have it. This man right here said Brandon Johnson, Democrat mayor of Chicago, is a walking idiot. And he said something about the black politicians. And you know they're Democrats because it's Illinois. He said that they've been caught doing some crazy stuff. They're ineffective because they're Democrats. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I want people to get it. I really, really do. And I don't want to sound condescending. I really, really don't. But you're talking about people's lives. You're talking about children being shot. You're talking about innocent people. Most people just want to live their lives in peace, and they can't even go get a bite to eat or play ball in their parks or throw a frisbee to their dog. None of these things. Just simple everyday life pleasures, because the crime problem is not under control. And then for Brandon Johnson to sign an executive order so that Trump can't come in and help, that is insane to me. And I'm going to tell you that I stopped voting based on color. I'm telling you, the Democrat Party is not, that's the problem right there. And Black people that are in politics tend to be Democrats. That's just a fact. And the Democrat Party is sending out their slaves to do all the dirty work. That's why you see so many Black Democrat politicians getting caught up in scandal, fraud. That's why you see it. And it's not just Black Democrat politicians, it's all Democrat politicians, if you really want to know the truth of it. But the Black ones are the ones that they use to do the most dirt, because that's just how the Democrat Party rolls. It's not that Black people are worse. It's not that. It's just the party itself, in my opinion, is inherently evil. Now, Republicans have their own issues, but if you notice, the ones that are getting in trouble the most, that is legitimately them doing things they should not be doing, the Democrats. And you saw him say these politicians here. And also they are really afraid that everything will work and make them, the Democrats, look bad. That's the real thing right there. Someone said that. They know when it gets cleaned up, it's going to make them look bad and ineffective. And yet they can shout out here and have Jamal Bryant out there standing right beside him. Jamal Bryant standing right there with Brandon Johnson while he was giving a speech. That man is always where there's something no good, low down going on. You can expect to see so-called Pastor Jamal Bryant of New Birth Ministries. He the next level, Al Sharptongue, but it's Jamal Bryant. Yeah, there's money in this thing. He's getting paid very well. You notice Jamal Bryant is at these type of events. He's also promoting the ideology and the agenda coming from the Democrat side as well, and preaching in gay churches. So he is a tool that is being used literally by Satan himself in the form of the Democrat Party. I'm just saying. And now we're just going to listen to a little bit more folks here. And remember now, Black folks who live this, some of these people live on the south and west sides. They don't live in Lincoln Park. So some of these folks out here, oh, crime is not a problem. Not for you, it isn't.
So the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, signed an executive order to instruct his law enforcement not to work with the feds, right? I thought executive orders was Nazi and fascism. I thought that they were a threat to democracy, but another instance of hypocrisy. Rules for thee, not for me. You see what's happening in Chicago, right? Chicago is monetizing crime. Chicago is monetizing crime. You know, the crime goes up. They're like, hey, Fed, send us more dollars. They throw a little bit of crumbs to the police unions, and they funnel the rest to the NGOs to continue to care for migrants, right? Because they're sanctuary city. And hands off of our voters, as they often say. What Trump needs to do is send a Doge team out there, send the National Guard to protect those Doge team, right? And audit the whole city, top to bottom, because you got to root the corruption out. Everybody, put cases on everybody, starting with Brandon Johnson. The Chicago Flips Red crew, yo, try to get the feds to audit everything, all the books, preserve every last one of y'all documents, from the text chains to the emails. Everybody got to get looked at. Look under everything. See where those dollars went. Because Chicago is at a deficit, and it's not going to end this year. It's just going to compound. And then your city going to go bankrupt. And then all the jobs going to flee, and it's going to be Detroit. Like what happened to Detroit during the 08 housing crisis, and when all those bailouts had to go to the big autos. That's what's going to happen in Chicago shortly.
All right, that young man really spoke some truth right there. He knows what's going down. Oh yes, he's on it. Listen to that brother. I agree with every single thing he said. Okay, people are they're monetized. They're being monetized off of chaos. All right, because you're just saying like, wait a minute, these people make no sense. They're literally allowing their citizens, their voters, people who voted them in, to literally be unalived in the middle of the street. People have to plan their children's and grandchildren's funerals. Do y'all really hear how horrible that is, that they would make excuses for not getting help and try to make it look like fascism by President Trump signing an executive order, but then he signs an executive order, Brandon Johnson did, to keep the law enforcement from working with the feds? That is some crazy hypocrisy right there. You all need to see who Brandon Johnson is. He is a puppet. Pritzker is Fred Flintstone. Okay, I just wanted to throw that in there because it kind of reminds me of Fred Flintstone, the cartoon. But this is crazy. People are losing their lives, and I can't believe that they don't want to help the problem. There needs to be more policing, but you know, the left likes to defund the police. That's why we're in the situation that we are in. They caused the problems on the left, on the Democrat side, and then blame the MAGA Republicans, blame President Trump for everything. It's his fault, it's his fault, it's his fault. No, it is your fault. It is your incompetent mayor, Brandon Johnson, and I'm gonna be nice, the governor, who is also incompetent, J.B. Pritzker. Those are your problems. Those right there. Okay. And people are literally dying in the streets, and this needs to stop right now. And I pray President Trump gets, and he's going to eventually get to Chicago, and your demon rats going to be screaming from the bottomless pits of hell because y'all love lawlessness. Tell me what you guys think. Do you really believe that man that just spoke when he said, you know, they're monetized off of chaos and they sprinkle a little bit to where it's supposed to go, but they keep the majority of the money, you know, those NGOs? Oh, that's the problem. But Doge could go do a local, kind of do something in Illinois. That would be nice. Tell me what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Like this video, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, select all notifications. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.